Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stacey Van Dyke, and it's another First Alert weather day. Now, while the wind might calm down after today, there's another threat on the way. Before we get to that, let's take a quick look at road conditions here in the valley. In North Dakota, I-29 from Fargo to the South Dakota border has just reopened. I-94 is closed from West Fargo to Valley City, with only the eastbound lane closed from Jamestown to Valley City. A number of highways are closed. The majority of the valley is under a no travel advisory. That means that even though some roads are open, authorities recommend you avoid travel if possible. In city limits, crews have been working all day to clear roads, but snow drifting is still a big issue, especially in open areas just outside of town. In Minnesota, you can see that most of the lower half of the state is under a travel advisory, with many roads partially or completely covered in snow. The roads in green are in good condition, but conditions constantly are changing, and we're not quite done with the snow just yet. The next big threat coming our way now is extremely cold temperatures. Summer joins us with a first look at the forecast, and she tells us how cold we can expect it to get tonight. Summer?
Thank you so much, Stacey. Yeah, we just can't catch a break. Our First Alert weather day continues for today, and it's been kind of fun to watch our Dakota Magic Casino Skycam near Hankinson, because since I-29 has reopened, this parking lot was full of semi-trailers, making their way back onto the highway, but conditions are still tough. This is a snapshot along Highway 75 near Tenney. I honestly don't know if this is supposed to be one lane or two, but visibility is quite low as that snow is drifting across the road. Want to take a note to point out satellite and radar where most of the snow has made its exit, but now we're concerned about the clearing skies starting up in the Devil's Lake Basin, because that's where we're going to be turning frigid the fastest. Still dealing with some low visibility in the Southern Valley, less than a half mile in the areas in green. And we had plenty of snow to blow around. 17 inches in Nashua, Minnesota, 16 inches in Ellendale, 13 in Lidgerwood. Here in Fargo, the official report was 4.4 inches. Stick around. We have dangerously cold wind chills, potentially as cold as 50 below zero. Stacey, to talk about here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Summer. We have new information on a crash involving a semi and a train. The Benson County Sheriff's Office says the driver of the semi failed to yield at the railroad crossing that happened yesterday at the 57th Avenue Northeast crossing in Leeds, North Dakota. The driver of the semi suffered minor injuries and is out of the hospital. Authorities say no one on the train was hurt. The Sheriff's Office also says that near whiteout conditions also played a factor in the crash. New for you at 4, one of the men accused of causing the death of an Erskine, Minnesota woman has been sentenced to prison in order to pay a hefty restitution to the victim's family. Andre Metcalf is convicted of third-degree murder in the death of 32-year-old Katie Flick. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison and is ordered to pay more than $12,000 to Flick's family. Another man was also charged with third-degree murder in the case. He has yet to be convicted. The 3 men convicted of murder in Ahmaud Arbery's fatal shooting were found guilty of federal hate crimes today for violating Arbery's civil rights and targeting him because he was black. The jury also found father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and neighbor William Roddy Bryan guilty of attempted kidnapping, while the McMichaels were also found guilty of the use of a firearm in the commission of a crime. During the trial, prosecutors showed roughly 24 text messages and social media posts in which Travis McMichael and Bryan used racist slurs. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland took the podium today to address the verdict, emphasizing the Justice Department's authority in federal hate crimes.
Modern federal hate crime laws have enhanced the Justice Department's authority to prosecute violent acts motivated by bias. No one in this country should have to fear the threat of hate-fueled violence. No one should fear being attacked or threatened because of what they look like, where they are from, whom they love, or how they worship.
Defense attorneys contended the 3 didn't chase and kill Arbery because of his race, but acted on the earnest, though incorrect, suspicion that Arbery had committed crimes in their neighborhood. The slaying of Arbery nearly 2 years ago tomorrow was captured in a graphic cell phone video that sparked widespread outrage. A funeral in St. Paul turned into a shootout, leaving one man dead and another fighting for his life. It's reported that the gunfire started around 11 yesterday morning outside of a funeral home, creating a tragedy on top of a tragedy for mourners, as the funeral was for a man who was shot and killed just 3 weeks ago. Community leaders are speaking out, saying it hurts their hearts to see violence have a chokehold on the community.
But the violence is not going to stop until we dig down to the root cause. The root cause is we have drama, trauma, and other things, and poverty, you name it, in our community that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, it's going to continue.
Police don't believe these were random shootings, but they haven't arrested anyone. Governor Tim Walz has officially called for a special election to fill the 1st congressional district seat left empty by Representative Jim Hagedorn's death. Walz issued a writ earlier today marking August 9th as the special elections date, and if necessary, a special primary will be held May 24th. Hagedorn died Thursday night at 59 years old. He'd been battling kidney cancer and had tested positive for COVID in early January. He had been the representative for a number of southern Minnesota counties since 2019. Secretary of State Steve Simon previously said the special election would take place within the current congressional district boundaries and not the new 2022 redistricting maps. The winning candidate will serve the remainder of the term. Today is the day Valley News Live is teaming up with Make-A-Wish North Dakota for its Wishes in Flight Miles to Smiles drive. Air travel is the largest expense of the chapter's annual Wish budget, but you can help right now by donating your unused air miles. All you have to do is log on to our website, valleynewslive.com, or check out your free VNL News app and click on this story. The first round of international sanctions response has been swift and severe after Russian President Vladimir Putin said he would send what he's calling peacekeeping troops into eastern Ukraine. The Biden administration called that explanation nonsense. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
This is the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
President Biden laid out swift and severe sanctions after Russian President Vladimir Putin recognized 2 regions of Ukraine as independent.
We've cut off Russia's government from Western financing. Russia will pay an even steeper price if it continues its aggression, including additional sanctions.
The European Union is also moving forward with initial economic sanctions. And in a significant move, Germany announced it will halt the $11 billion Nord Stream 2 pipeline that would have moved natural gas from Russia to Germany. Russia has announced it will pull its diplomatic staff out of Ukraine as unidentified military vehicles continue to move in.
Every indication is that Russia continues to plan for a full-scale attack on Ukraine.
To further bolster NATO's eastern flank, President Biden says he's authorized the movement of additional U.S. forces and equipment to Baltic allies.
Mr. Putin can still avoid a full-blown tragic war of choice.
Speaking in South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham said he and other lawmakers are working on their own legislation to give more assistance to Ukraine and possibly create a multi-agency task force to target Russian oligarchs.
It's now time for that crowd to lose their yachts, lose their luxury apartments, and to pay a price.
Lawmakers also warned that the effects of Russia's actions will be felt here at home, with higher prices at the gas pump and potentially the grocery store. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
During his remarks, the president also said his administration will use every tool to protect Americans from rising gas prices, as they've now climbed for the 8th week in a row. The U.S. women's national soccer team has reached a landmark settlement with the U.S. Soccer Federation to resolve its years-long fight for equal pay. Under the agreement, players will receive $24 million in equal pay for the men's and women's national teams going forward. The equal pay discrimination lawsuit was filed by the players in 2019 following the team's 4th World Cup victory. Players credit its new U.S. team president, Cindy Parlow Cone, a former player who took over in 2020.
For me, it's about moving forward together and really focusing on what's important in growing the game both here at home and across the world.
The settlement includes back pay and equal pay with the men's team going forward, including World Cup bonuses. The two sides had previously agreed on improved working conditions. The equal pay commitment is subject to the collective bargaining agreements with the men's and women's unions. The U.S. Soccer Federation says they will be transparent in the process, inviting both sides to each other's negotiations. Today is 2/22/22. That's a palindrome. That's when the sequence reads the same forward or backward. In fact, the rest of the month will be a palindrome too. Venmo is doing a giveaway for users who tweet about the day, awarding $222 to dozens of people who follow the company. They say for a chance to win, retweet the post and add a comment.